Today, I want to talk to you about the top 10 items that you'll need if you're going to attempt breastfeeding or pumping. Hi everyone, my name is Morgan with Passable Parent. I've been a registered nurse for the past 10 years. Predominantly, I've specialized in pediatrics and early childhood development. Today, I want to talk to you about the top 10 items that you'll need if you're going to attempt breastfeeding or pumping. First, I want to start with my top item that helped me as a first-time mom really get through breastfeeding, which was one of the most challenging things I've ever done, even with my experience as a nurse. The My Brest Friend Pillow. This helped me so much. When you are in the hospital, you're gonna have a bunch of people come in and tell you things like, you should breastfeed for at least 6 months to a year, and statements like that, and you just had a baby, you're vulnerable, and you're trying to figure this whole thing out. Figuring out positions for how to hold your baby to nurse them is extremely awkward. It's uncomfortable and it's intimidating. It's not something that any of us are inherently born knowing how to do, and it's something that you have to figure out. Now, there's many different positions that you can try. For me, I have a larger chest, and what was really helpful was this pillow. It straps right around your midsection, and it's completely adjustable. So the strap, depending on your size, it's completely adjustable. If you're smaller, if you're bigger, this is great. And it's really great for sideline feeding position. So that was one of my top ways to feed my baby, most successful and the most comfortable for me. So your baby's head would go on either side and the baby would just lay right across the pillow. I found this very comfortable. You also could do what they call football hold, where your baby's head would be here and their legs and feet would be back here. And you can do that with this pillow as well on either side. I loved this pillow. I ate on this pillow. My husband would laugh and make jokes about how this really was my breast friend. The name was perfect. I loved it. It just really made it much easier. My son also really enjoyed laying on it. It was very comfortable. It's very soft. And also the cover is completely machine washable. It comes off. You can actually buy an extra cover, or you could just wash it. Underneath it's like an insert, and then this cover goes on top. So if there's any spit up or messes, very durable, very easy to clean. This was one of my number one things. The Boppy Pillow is another one that they sell, but that's really not great for actually nursing, I found. That's great for tummy time and sitting your baby up. But when it comes to nursing, it can be awkward. It's not adjustable. This is adjustable, how it goes around you. For me, the Boppy was not one that was good for nursing, but I love the Boppy for tummy time, which I'll be talking to you about in another video. Moving on to the next item, I really liked the Frida Mom brand. Now, you don't necessarily need to buy Frida Mom brand. They sell these items in different ways. You can buy them separate. Different companies make these items. One of the pieces that come in this kit, which this is new and I was really excited to see this, is called the 2-in-1 lactation massager. So a lot of times, whether you're pumping, whether you're breastfeeding, you can get clogged milk ducts, and they are extremely painful. And when you get a clogged duct, you want to massage out that duct. You can feel it on your chest, and this is actually a massager, so it vibrates. So if you don't want to spend the money for the Frida Mom kit, which I actually didn't have this because it wasn't on the market, for the massager part of it, you actually can use an electric toothbrush, believe it or not. Just any electric toothbrush. This is just, Crest or Oral-B, sorry. Any one will work. And you just take it and you just find the clogged milk duct and you just kind of massage it in there. And this is really important to do because you don't want to leave that duct clogged. You can end up with something called mastitis, which is when that clogged milk duct with the milk stuck in it actually gets infected. And that could be a major infection that could require you to even have to go to the hospital, take antibiotics, etc. That can happen whether you're breastfeeding or pumping, and it's just not fun. So I definitely recommend having either electric toothbrushes on hand or buying a kit like this one that has an electric massager in it. And another thing that really helps with clogged ducts is while you're massaging them, you want to use warm water. So warm compresses help the milk to flow more. You also can ice it when you're not trying to break out that clot, because the ice will actually, cold makes the milk stop flowing and warm and hot makes the milk flow. So when you're trying to break up the clot, you want it to be flowing. When you're not trying to pump or nurse or break it up and you are having too much flow, you can ice it, and when it gets red and inflamed, you want to do ice. So the next part of this kit, which I thought was really cool and goes along with that, is something called the instant heat breast warmers. So that will be something that you could put on there if you are trying to stimulate more milk flow, try and stimulate more milk to come out when you're pumping. The next thing that I see is breast masks for lactation. So that is something that I have actually not used, but I really like this kit because a lot of women struggle with producing breast milk, and you're sometimes desperate for anything that will help make your milk flow more, help make it easier. That's really cool that that's included in there. And there's also one for hydration, because unfortunately your nipples get very cracked, especially in the beginning. You're just not used to that stimulation on your nipples, whether you're pumping or whether you're nursing exclusively. It's just more action happening to them than ever in your life, and they do get cracked, they do get dry, and sometimes bleed. It can be very painful, so you definitely want to keep them hydrated or to prevent that and to prevent infection through your actual nipples. And along with that, moving on, is my next item, Nipple Cream, made by Lansinoh. I think they're a great brand. They've been around for a long time. We would recommend this to moms in the hospital. And this is a nipple cream that you can put on your nipples. So not only is this great if you're nursing, because it's safe for baby, you want to wipe it off a little bit before you nurse. You don't want a huge glob on there, but it is safe if your baby gets some. Not only is it safe for them, but also it really helps with your nipples. It helps before you put the pump up to your nipple. It actually will help as you're pumping. It doesn't pull at the skin so much, and it can help prevent cracking if you just put it on as you put your nipple into the pump, actually. So that it's really great for that. There's other brands that I really like for creams. You're gonna try a bunch, find which one works best for you. I like Lansinoh, like the Lanolin cream. I like Earth Mama. They make some good creams, but find what works for you. Definitely gonna want to keep cream and these soothing creams at hand. You're gonna want a bunch of them and just keep applying, especially in the beginning. It gets better. These were just absolutely life-saving for me. This is the Lansinoh Soothing Cooling Gel Pads. I don't know if any other companies make these. This is the only one that I've seen. I think in the hospital, before I actually was discharged after having my son, the nurses there did give me some. I think maybe Medela makes them as well. But these are awesome. You actually can put them in the refrigerator, and that makes them really cool. And they are just pads. They're circular pads, gel, and they're reusable. And you just stick them right on, and it's like instant relief. It was life-saving for me getting through the beginning weeks. The first, I'd say 3 weeks are the hardest. If you can get past that point, whether you're pumping or nursing, these are great. Have these in the fridge, have these on stock. These are awesome to have. You're definitely gonna need a breast pump. If you plan on nursing or whether you plan on breastfeeding, you need to have a breast pump. And you might think, you might not if your plans are to exclusively nurse, but you need a breast pump because you want to stimulate milk production in the beginning, especially. You actually can have your breast pump paid for by your insurance company. Many insurance companies actually will pay for your breast pump. I didn't know that. I'm sure there's some insurance companies that don't, but definitely check and see if your insurance company is one that will cover your breast pump. I actually chose the Spectra S1 breast pump. The reason why I chose this one in particular is because it is not only, you know, plugged into a wall, but it is battery operated, so you don't always have to be plugged into a wall. For me, this was really great. I did have to pay extra. My insurance company would not cover this specific pump. They would only cover the one that you plugged into the wall. I think that happens with most insurance companies. So if it's in your budget and that's something that's important to you, if you're, say, not working from home and you need to go to an office, maybe you want to think about whether or not you can be right next to an outlet. If you're going to be pumping in the car, think about where you will be pumping and then really decide if it's worth it to you to maybe spend a little extra for something that you won't need an outlet with you. For me, it was. So yeah, I wanted to just talk about getting the breast pump, because you need a breast pump, because you're going to need to, even if you exclusively nurse, which is something that I did, you need to also pump to stimulate your breast milk production. You need to be able to tell your body how much milk to produce. And if you're struggling with milk production, I know it's a lot, you're trying to nurse your baby, and then to think about also pumping, you're just like, how do I have time for this? How can I do this? But it will help you stimulate more milk for your baby. And in the long run, it's worth it. Also gives you a freezer stash if you ever get sick, if you ever need somebody else to take care of your baby for you because you won't be home, or you even just need some time for yourself. Having that freezer stash is really important, something that, you know, someone else can use in your absence. So that's what I recommend about the pump. And then that also brings me to my next item, which goes along with the pump. These are the Lansinoh Breast Storage bags. These are wonderful. I didn't discover these until later on. I wish I had known about them beforehand. These just make it so much easier. Pumps come with a bunch of pieces. I'm going to show you this bag as an example. With this, you don't need the bottle part that comes with the pump. You can actually just pump directly into the bag. These bags are supposed to fit most pumps. I have the Spectra S1 again, but you could use, I think most other pumps, these bags work on their standard. Check to make sure that this is something that will work with your pump. But for me, it did, and it worked great. And this saves you so much time. You have to clean and sterilize each part of your pump after you use it, but you have less pieces to clean if you can just attach a bag to it, and then when you're done, you can either put it right in the freezer or you can put it right in the fridge. There's a nice little section to date time and put your baby's name and the volume of what you pumped right on there. Breast milk is only good for so long once you thaw it out, or whether it's in the fridge. So you don't want to put too much in the bag when your baby's belly is so little in the beginning. It's actually better to freeze in smaller increments. That way, you know, if your baby, you heat it up and your baby doesn't drink too much of it, you're not wasting, you know, 6 ounces or so. This stuff is liquid gold, so you definitely, it's better to freeze it in smaller batches. Whether you're breastfeeding or nursing, you're definitely going to want to get some nursing pads. Now, I really like the organic cotton ones. They're much softer, in my opinion. I feel like they're more comfortable, they slip right into your bra, and they're machine washable, so they're reusable. They also sell ones that are not reusable that you can throw away, but I didn't find them to be as comfortable. It's totally personal preference. This is for your breasts leaking. They will leak in the beginning. Your body regulates how much breast milk to make. Totally normal, that's a good thing. And these are great because then you won't leak through your shirt or your bra, whatever you're wearing. So I definitely recommend you getting some nursing pads, whether they are the organic cotton ones or you choose that disposable ones are better for you. But get some of these. Haakaa Breast pump. So this is really good for any overflow. So if you were nursing, this is great because you're only using one breast at a time, and you can actually suction this to your other breast and it will catch any letdown. Letdown happens to many women. Milk will just flow freely from the other breast while your baby is nursing on one. This is great. This catches it. You want to catch every little drop that you can because it's hard work getting this milk out. Definitely recommend getting a Haakaa. You know, other women, I personally didn't use it as an actual pump itself. I had the electric pump that my insurance company helped cover, but If you wanted to, this also, you can do hand pumping with this. So I think it's really great. One thing I will say is definitely, they sell it separate. I don't know why. I think maybe there's kits where they sell both, but this is the actual cap for the pump, the Haakaa. Definitely get the cap. You're tired in the beginning, you're sleep deprived, and you don't want to knock this thing over. It's the worst feeling in the world. It's horrible to accidentally knock over any of your milk that you've worked so hard to get out, whether you're nursing or pumping. So definitely get the cap with this. It's worth it. You don't want to spill this. The cap just goes right on after. I would leave this in the nursery at the night table, and then I would bring it down to the fridge or the freezer, and after I put it in a bag, you know, just carrying it, you don't want to spill it. Definitely get the cap with it. Cover. So this one's by Copper Pearl. These covers are not just for, you know, nursing your baby or pumping in a public setting. You can actually put these over the high chair, you can put these over the grocery cart. I used it in the beginning to take my son to his pediatrician's appointments. He was born in 2020, so I was really worried about germs. If you're comfortable breastfeeding or pumping in public without a cover, you know, that's great. If you're new to this and you're not comfortable with that, this is also great. As your baby gets older, I will say, this becomes something that they like to play with. They like to kick their feet and pull at it, and babies don't like to be covered, I found. So it gets a little trickier once they start becoming more mobile, but in the beginning, this is really great. This is helpful, and I really liked it, so I definitely recommend it. Plus, it has multiple uses, which are really great. It's something that anyone needs. Your fluid intake postpartum. Definitely recommend getting something like this. Whether you're pumping, to whether drink water, you decide already. Neither one works. This is just a good reminder. And, you know, I have one timer saying, you know how important it is. You're going to need this. Drink 3 of these a day. To stay hydrated. Just make it a goal. Keep is really great. You know, for nursing or breastfeeding, it's also really crucial. It's going to give you energy. It's going to help you can't produce breast milk if you're not. It's great for you postpartum, no matter how you choose to feed. You need to actually drink 3 of these a day. So this is great. 40 ounce. You know, any ice pack will do when your breasts get sore or inflamed. If you're trying to break up a clogged milk duct, like I talked about earlier, I touched on a little bit, you can ice in between trying to break it up. Now remember, cold and ice means slower flow of milk, whereas warm and hot means it's going to make your milk flow more. So this is when you're not trying to make your milk flow more and you're just trying to ice because you have sore, tender breasts, and you know, this is just great to have. And along with that, I actually learned in the hospital this neat little trick that I thought I'd share with you. You can actually take a diaper, a baby's diaper, really any size, it depends on, you know, the size of your chest, whatever works for you. You can actually fill this with cold water, and you can then freeze it. I'm going to keep it open after you do this, and you can just actually use diapers that have been kind of saturated with cold water and put in the freezer to wrap around your breast and ice your breast. I thought that was a cool little trick I'd share with you if you don't have an ice pack. You know, most of us have diapers, and that about covers all of my items that I think are essential for you to have, whether you choose to nurse your baby or pump breast milk, whatever works for you. I think these items are really helpful. I think they really helped me get through it. I think some other things that really helped me, I've actually been nursing my son for 16 months now, which I'm so proud of myself to be able to say that, because in the beginning I definitely didn't know that I would make it past 24 hours. It's incredibly tough. Anyway, some of the things that really helped me were, other than these items, were I actually started following accounts on social media that were pro-nursing, pro-pumping. I thought I should kind of immerse myself in normalizing those things and help getting myself more exposed to them. It kind of can give you a sense of community too, to see other people going through similar struggles and things. Also had a supportive partner. I know it's much more difficult if you don't have a partner. Family that was supportive about it, although not everyone in my family is pro breastfeeding or did breastfeed themselves. Most people were really supportive of me with it, which is really helpful. And I think I also gave myself the chance to kind of just see what would happen, you know, instead of focusing on those big statements like, you need to do this for 6 months or a year or whatever. I kind of just took a step back and just kind of said, if I can just make it through this day, if I can just make it through this nursing session, you know, I tried to just take it day by day, and that made it much less overwhelming, you know, just this time, just this day. And that all of a sudden turned into many days, many weeks, many months, just kind of taking it little by little by little and not really having any crazy expectations. I didn't know how it was going to go. I really was open to whatever was going to be best for me, for my baby, for my physical health, for his physical health, for my mental health. There's a lot of different factors that go into it. Unfortunately, in this country, it's also a luxury, I find, to be able to breastfeed, which is crazy to say because it's a ridiculous amount of work. But a lot of employers are not very supportive, even though it's now 2022. And, you know, that's a whole other issue. But it is something that is a huge time commitment, and it's totally worth it. But there are these other factors that go into it. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. If you could like and subscribe below, I would really appreciate it. This is new to me. I don't have any sponsorships, so this is all just things that worked for me. If there's also anything that you think I should cover or other things you'd like to see me make videos about, please post them below in the comment section. Let me know what you'd like to see. I'd love to be able to help anyone however I can, if there's anything I know, or reaching out to the other people I work with and kind of picking their brains for knowledge. So if you have anything you'd like to see, let me know. And also I will link all the items that I discussed in this video down below. That way if you're interested, you can go ahead and take a look at them, see what you think. And if there's any items that you think that I left out that were really important or that helped you through your journey, post them down in the comment section so that way we can really help other people, and maybe I can include them in a future video. So yeah, let me know. Thank you so much for your time again, and I hope to see you again soon.